Here's a song that reminds me of growing up in the Midwest. Usually when I come to Ohio, I don't start out by announcing I grew up in Michigan. But growing up in the Midwest, I traveled to other parts of the world and the country, and you gotta be tough to live in the Midwest. And this song, I bet you'll know this song. This one always reminds me of home, okay? Let it go, can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, turn my back and slam the door. And I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on, the cold never bothered me anyway. Thank you. You know that. I found myself dreaming silver and gold, like a scene from a movie that only broken hearts know. We're walking on moonlight and you pulled me close. Split second, you disappeared, and I was all alone. Woke up and teased you were there on my side, gave a breath of relief, and I realized we got promised tomorrow. So I'm gonna love you, like I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna hold you like I say goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take it for granted. You never know when we run out of time. I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. In the blink of an eye, just a pillar of smoke. You could lose everything. The truth is, you'll never know. So I kiss you longer, baby. Every chance that I get, I'll make the most of the minutes in love with no regrets. Let's take our time, say what we want, use what we got before it's all gone. We are promised tomorrow, so I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. I'm gonna hold you like we're saying goodbye. Wherever we're standing, I won't take you for granted. You never know when we run out of time. I'm gonna love you like I'm gonna lose you. So I have a few of my original songs to share with you today and some Christmas music. I talked with Sharinda ahead of coming here to the University of Findlay, and I said, is it okay if I play some Christmas songs? She said, oh, well, some people have been asking. She said, I wasn't going to ask you, but now that you're asking, yes. So I recently released a Christmas album in Spanish, so I'll be singing, I guess in Spanglish today. And I also have some mashups, sort of like that first song that I sang, which is like little pieces of songs that you know, but I put them all together. So this is one that's it's a song from Nat King Cole, which I grew up loving, and then a newer song from Sarah Bareilles, and I mashed them together. So this is Love and I Choose You. Here's for the way you look at me. Always for the only one I see. Vision choose you. I will become yours and you will become mine. I choose you. I choose you. L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary. Is even more than anyone that you adore. And tell the world that we finally got it alright. I choose you. You will become and I will become yours. I choose you. I choose you. And love is all that I can give to you. Love is more than just a game for two. Two and love can make it. You take my heart, but please don't break it. Tell the world that we finally got it alright. I choose you. I will become yours and you will become mine. I choose you. I choose you. I should write a note to myself when I start this song, like, you have to sing this song very emotionally or move on to the next song. I forgot about that. You can't just breeze through this song. Like, I have to sing like every note, like I really, really mean it. All right, now I'm here. I'm totally here. I'm not on an airplane. I'm not driving across the turnpike. I am right here. It's great to see you guys. So my dad is a psychologist, a school psychologist, so he works with children and teenagers. And so when I was growing up, I always felt like my dad knew what I was thinking before I knew what I was thinking, which was usually great, sometimes irritating. And my dad would always remind us kids, I'm the eldest of 7 children, big family, everything was fun, or at least exciting. And my dad would remind us that as excited as we were about Christmas growing up, that for some people, the holidays are the hardest time of the year. And I remember thinking, what? There's presents. How could this be a hard time of the year? There's snow. This is amazing. And so he'd remind us that, well, sometimes snow is hard for people. What are you talking about? Let's go sledding. And so I have some holiday songs to share with you, but I also have this one song that I'd like to share with a story. It's a different holiday, not Thanksgiving or Christmas, but you're trying to guess all the other holidays. I know, okay. It's not Easter. So this story took place in a flower shop in northern Wisconsin. My godmother works at a flower shop, and she's the one who went through this story. And she told me, and then I turned it into a song. So I'd like to share a little bit of the background first so that you kind of are in the setting with me, and then I'll share the song with you. So what do you think would be the busiest day of the year? Yeah, to buy flowers at a flower shop in northern Wisconsin. I heard a smattering of Mother's Day in there too. It's actually Mother's Day, but Valentine's is a close second. So this story did take place on Valentine's Day.
So can you imagine a flower shop in northern Wisconsin on Valentine's Day? What is it like? What's going on? There's roses all over. What's outside? Snow. Okay, so it's white outside and it's red and maybe pink inside. Who is in the shop? Men. Oh yes, my godmother. So my godmother is working behind the counter, and you can imagine frantic customers last minute shopping for Valentine's Day. And then the phone rings. And she answers the phone. The person on the other line, he doesn't say his name, he doesn't identify himself. She recognizes his voice because he's a regular. He usually walks down to the flower corner shop to buy bouquets for his wife. Gentlemen, take note. Gentlemen, take note. So, today, she knew why he was not coming in person, and it was because he was very ill. So ill that just a quick, what would be normally a quick walk down the street was getting too difficult. So can you imagine time sort of standing still as he says, I'd like to order my last Valentine's bouquet for my wife. People were standing at the counter. I hurried with the flowers and I answered the phone. I heard a regular customer on the line. He was fighting cancer and he asked me something I'll always remember. What do you give the one who's given you everything? I'm getting too weak to come in person, but I wanted to send her a beautiful Valentine. One last time. Seemed like the store went silent. He told me the colors of the flowers and the bows, and I asked, would you like to write the note? And he replied, could you just write, thanks for everything. What do you say? The one who's given you everything. I'm getting too weak to write it myself, but I wanted to send her a beautiful Valentine. One last time. And he said, next year when I'm not here, could you find my wife? Tell her I wanted to say so much more today. A year later, it's my turn to think of the words for the one who will spend today alone. She comes by once in a while. She dries her eyes before she goes. This year, there's no bouquet, just the most beautiful memory. What do you give the one who's giving you everything? He was getting too weak to come in person. song, this gentleman's premonition was correct. He lost his battle with cancer. And by the time the next Valentine's Day rolled around, my godmother remembered that she had promised this gentleman on the phone that she would find his now widow and tell her the message from her husband the year before. So shortly after Valentine's Day, because Kathy was her name, Kathy wasn't in her office on Valentine's Day. Shortly after, my godmother went back to the bank where Kathy worked, and she walked in. She said, "Kathy, Art," her husband, "Art had something he wanted to tell you." And Kathy said, "My Art?" She said, "Yes." And she went on to say how Art had called the flower shop and how he said he had so much he wanted to say, but he just didn't have words at that time. And Kathy said, "I was just talking to Art this morning." She said, "I said, I need something down here." It turns out that week, the next week was going to be Art's birthday, their wedding anniversary, and the first anniversary of his death. So I had already written this song. And put it on my brand new CD and mailed the CD to my godmother. And my godmother had the CD in her purse during this conversation. So at the end of the conversation, she pulls out my CD and she's like, "Also, if you want to hear about your story and a song, here's an album for you." So I got to meet Kathy in person, and I'm just really grateful for how music can just bring our emotions together so we can feel with the same heart for a minute. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to be a small part of this love story that I think proves this love was even stronger than death. So I mentioned my new Christmas album, so I'm going to play a couple of songs from that project, and I imagine that you know the tune, and you might know these words in English, so I'm going to maybe sing them. I mentioned Spanglish. We're going to try Spanglish here.
que las cantadas están tan dulcísima canción. Las montañas suenan como fiel contestación. In excelsis los pastores sin cesar sus cantares dan a Dios. Cuán glorioso es el cantar de su melodiosa voz. Gloria in excelsis Come to Bethlehem and see in whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bending Christ the Lord, our newborn King. Gloria in excelsis in excelsis Oh, baby, pronto a Belén para contemplar con fe a Jesús, autor de bien, al recién nacido Rey. Gloria in excelsis Dichosa tierra proclamar que vino ya el Señor. En nuestras almas preparar un sitio alrededor, un sitio alrededor, un sitio a nuestro Redentor. Dichosa tierra, el Salvador, triunfante ha de reinar. Resuenen coros, coros de honor, en cielo, tierra y mar, en cielo, tierra y mar, en cielo, tierra y nuestro mar.
hearing me. I'll sing one more from my Christmas album, and then I'll share another original. Freshman year in high school, first of all. I know at least one of you have not gotten there yet. Think back to your freshman year of high school. Did any of you fall in love your freshman year of high school? You don't have to raise your hand, just think back. Were you in love with the Backstreet Boys or... I fell in love when I was a freshman in high school, and this song is a piece about my concept of love as a 14-year-old. You'll see it's very deep. It's called Freshman Year. We're talking for hours about whatever. I'm thinking about your last name, dreaming about forever. We don't have a care, I'm just playing with your hair. Welcome to my league, it's the whole new speed. Join the club, have no fear, fall in love. Freshman year. My friends say you like me, I think that just might be. But you're so hard to read, maybe because you're 15. You're invited to the cool kids team. Come on up and sit with me. Welcome to my league. It's the whole new speed. Join the club, have no fear, fall in sure you'll have so much fun ahead and girls like me don't mess with you instead. Hey, I'm learning just like you, only I make it look cool. I feel those butterflies inside while you're looking at me like you're surprised. I got my tan skin, skinny braids, strong voice, and a heart full of dreams. I'm staring at you, daring you to try to keep up with me. Welcome to my knee. It's so only sweet. Join the club, have no fear, fall in love. So I just wrote my first book, and it's being printed right now. I'm really excited about it. I'm an artist at heart, of course. I have my daughter, one of my daughters, my 6-year-old daughter. She loves to draw, and she's very, very dramatic. So I just tell her, like, you are an artist. So when she's being particularly dramatic, she's like, I'm an artist, okay? I know. So we cheer for each other, my daughter Kiara and I. And so because I'm in the midst of book writing, and my book is a love story, I feel like I must share it with you, because I try to really sing from my heart, and also just to like share from where I am, and I am in the writing zone. And before I tell you the story, if you'd like to listen, it will be story and music, of course. It's a musical. I would like to share a song that I wrote for my daughter Kiara. It's the one we've been talking about. It's the lullaby. And sometimes my 6-year-old will have my husband play this song when she misses me, and I'm out on the road, because this is her song. The sun has set and the sky is dark. The time for rest is here. Let the troubles of the day disappear. Know that the angels are near. They're watching, they're waiting, they're staying, protecting, que sueñes con los angelitos, que sueñes con los angelitos. Buenas noches, mi vida, buenas noches, mi amor, que sueñes con los angelitos. The sun has set and the sky is dark. The time for rest is here. Let the troubles of the day disappear, and know that the angels are near. They're watching, they're waiting, they're staying, protecting, que sueñes con los angelitos, que sueñes con los angelitos. Buenas noches, mi vida, buenas noches, mi amor, que sueñes con los angelitos. just after, see, I have a son first and then 3 daughters. And I think I was just adjusting to motherhood and surprised that having a son actually was a lot like having a brother, except I had to feed him all the time. But then I realized I really love my brothers so much. I mentioned I'm the eldest in my family, so I really felt toward my brothers like very motherly. But then when I had a daughter, I was just, girls are just so beautiful. I just started writing all these songs. So there'll be another Kiara song a little bit later. So falling in love. So I fell in love when I was 14. For real. Okay? For real. And I'm kind of really very driven in life. And from a young age, I knew exactly what I would like out of life. I knew that I wanted to sing, to play music for people, to bring them joy. I wanted to use my music to tell people about Jesus, which I have been blessed to do across the world. And I wanted to marry Matt and have 10 kids. I thought, okay, life, that's a good life plan. We weren't dating yet though, so I thought, well, that would probably come first. But he never really brought it up. And I didn't want to be really pushy, I kind of wanted to let him take a lead, so I would just sort of mention things like, maybe we could spend time together, not just at church, at youth group, but other times. And it just, I don't know, it seemed like he liked me, but he just never made a move. So, I decided I would wait for him. My mom is like, what is your problem? So I decided all through high school, I didn't date anybody else because I had a crush on this kid Matt who lived in the suburbs and I lived in the city and I hardly ever saw him, but we stayed in touch on AOL Instant Messenger. Are there any millennials in here? Okay. So we chat online every once in a while. I decided I wasn't going to force the issue. I was going to focus on school. Good idea. And also writing music. I started my music career when I was in high school, started traveling and giving concerts. And I decided as soon as high school was over, I would tell Matt all about my feelings for him, how I'd been waiting for him, and now that we're finally adults, we could do something about it, like get engaged and married and have 10 kids. So, the date was getting closer to the end of high school. We didn't talk so often, he wasn't online very often. I thought maybe he has another girlfriend, but I'm just waiting for him and we'll see what happens because I know that fate and destiny are in my heart. Then I was online talking to a friend who knew Matt well, and he said, "Did you hear where Matt's going to college?" I said, "Where?" "Tell me." He said, "It's by Notre Dame in Indiana." And I'm like, well, I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. That's only about 2 hours away. Not bad for a long-distance relationship. And then Tony said, "Yeah, it's a seminary." And I was like, "Oh, great." We're Catholic, by the way, we're Catholic. And I was like, "Oh, seminary. Is he changing religions?" And he's like, No, it's a Catholic seminary." I'm like the Catholic seminary, like Catholic become a priest seminary, like the priests never get married or have kids seminary? Like that kind? Surely no. Tony's like, "Yes, isn't that great?" I'm like, No, that is not great. That ruins the whole plan. And then I realized it's just discernment, maybe he'll discern out. So my heart was hopeful. I would pray for Matt as he was away in the seminary, thinking about whether he should give his life to God and never get married, and hoping that wasn't the case, but I did want the best for him. I really did. So I was 20, and just realizing, wow, this person is still on my heart, and I don't even feel free to talk to other boys, but I would try. I would go on a date every once in a while. I'd go on 2 dates with somebody, and then I'd be like, "Wow, you're still not Matt. Wow, time for you to go." Okay. So this is just a little piece of my heart at that point. Not a day goes by that I don't think of him. I remember his voice. I wonder how he's been. And I'm not asking if he's thinking of me too. It's enough to trust I'm loved by you. And I don't have words to thank you for this gift. And I don't have songs to express just what it means. When I lay my head on my pillow each night, Lord, search my heart and there you'll find him. Seasons go by. Seasons change, some things remain, and I'm not asking if he's thinking of me too. It's enough to trust I'm loved by you. Bring that boy a better joy than I could be for him, and I will be content. You'll find him. So I'd say when I was about 20 years old, I experienced like real heartbreak for the first time. And I was able to actually see Matt when he was in seminary, because I had a ticket to a Notre Dame football game, and it was like right where the seminary is. So I think it's a perfectly good reason to hang out with a seminarian. And it was very clear to me that those feelings that we had, that seemed to be apparent in high school when we'd see each other at like church get-togethers, it seemed like it was still there. He said to me 4 times in the course of one conversation, "I'm not for sure going to be a priest, you know. It's just discernment." I was like, I know. But I just felt strongly in my heart, like this deep sense that if I said something about my feelings, it would change the course of our lives. But it needed to come from him. Like I needed to give him the space to really decide what he felt called to do. And so I just waited, and in that waiting was a lot of heartache. But it was the most beautiful kind. And then my friend David was trying to date me at the same time. David was like handsome and kind and respectful, and like he loved his mom, and he's like hardworking and in college. And my mom's like, please talk to David. I'm like, listen, I'm in love with the seminarian. It's complicated. But somehow my heart started to open. Through that heartbreak, I think my heart was open to receiving more love, because I was like cracked wide open. And there was just room to have more happiness than I maybe even thought was possible. And so I remember David just kind constantly, for a year, it's very persistent, did I mention that? For a year, would be like, hey, can we hang out? He'd be like, maybe Wednesday. I'm like, oh, my friends and I are hanging out. You could come with us. He's like, okay. Here's a song about how life is beautiful, and I'll get back to my story. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow so pretty in the sky are also on the faces of people going by. I hear friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're singing, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I will ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Thank you. So I found myself at a certain point, my heart was open enough that I realized I wasn't waiting for Matt anymore in seminary. And my heart was open to David, and I said, well, I don't see any reason not to date you. Very romantic I am. So we started a dating relationship. And we were going to go to Mexico over Christmas with a group from my church that was going on a mission to Juarez, Mexico. There were these people who live on a garbage dump. The people in the city call them the dump people. It's incredible because El Paso, Texas is one of the safest places in the United States, in the world. And then you just cross a border, a line, in the sand, basically. You cross this border, you go down through this massive city of Juarez. It's got this valley. You get to the end, and you can stand on the end of the city and see the lights of the United States, and you're standing in a massive garbage dump that just spreads for miles and miles and miles, and people make their houses there. So David and I wanted to go down there together to serve people and to be in solidarity with our brothers and sisters who just live, across a border. I was going to give a concert there for Christmas. And something that David and I were praying about was protection. We wanted protection over our love that was blossoming, because it was starting to be really beautiful. I didn't want anything to get in the way of that. No jealousy or insecurity or anything. And right before we were leaving for Mexico, we got a letter from the mission director, and he said, do not escalating. We fear that some of you may be in danger. We fear that Amanda's life might be in danger, like if I gave the concert, right? So when I was praying, for protection, I was thinking like relationship-wise, not like life or death. So David and I decided to go, instead of to Mexico, to a Mexican dinner at our church. And toward the end of the dinner, the main lights turned off, and there were these side lights that came on, but they were colored lights. And somebody said in Spanish, which I speak and David doesn't, he said, "All the married couples and Amanda and David, come on up here." This is a setup. Okay. So he said, "What do they say?" I'm like, "Nothing, they just want us to go to the front." Okay. So we go to the front, and it turns out we're having a dance. Not just any dance, but a dance competition. You know the kind where, like, if you're not dancing so great, somebody taps you on the shoulder and you're escorted off the floor in a walk of shame. Okay. David and I had never danced together before. I think, okay, first time dancing together, dance competition, we must win. So I'm out there giving it my best dance moves, You can picture it. And other couples are being tapped off the floor. I'm thinking, these are natives, baby, but we got this. And eventually, I looked at David. And the way that he was looking back at me was like, he was so happy to be in that moment with me. And he really saw me, like who I am on the inside, like beyond my awesome dance moves. And he loved me. So as I drove back to my home that night, I thought about that prayer I'd been praying for protection. I thought about the look that David had given me, and I thought, that look could protect my heart against insecurity, this feeling that I'm not enough, or actually my feeling is normally that I'm too much. That I could just be myself and be loved for who I am. And I thought, I'd like David to look at me that way every day for the rest of my life. So we decided to get married. And when we were engaged, I wrote this song for his birthday present. It's called Interior Gaze. You are looking at me tenderly. Somehow I sense that you see much more than eyes and lips and skin. You see within my soul. There's no need to look away. Turn my eyes up, hide my face. Underneath your gaze, I know I'm safe, I'm free, I'm home. I'm safe, I'm free, I'm home. You are speaking to me, sweetly. You honor me completely. Gently convincing me you love who you see. Looking at me makes my heart begin to sing. Then my spirit starts to fly and soar on eagle's wings. There's no need to look away. Turn my eyes up, hide my face. Underneath your gaze, I know I'm safe, I'm free, I'm home. I'm safe, I'm free, I'm home. So I could tell you that David and I got married, had a bunch of kids, and lived happily ever after, which is in progress, it's true. Or I could tell you about the twist in the story. I'm waiting for somebody in the back. Twist. No, really. Do you want to hear about the twist in the story? What about Matt? Well, because I was in love with David now and I was engaged, I never thought about Matt ever again. College students are like perfect. Some of you who are toward the front here, you're like, it's not real life. Okay, I was still thinking about Matt. Don't judge me, just stay with me. Okay, so I was still thinking about Matt because I had been waiting for this person and thinking about him and praying for him every day for 7 years. That's a long time, right? In the life of a 21-year-old or anyone, that's a long time. Just looking for some like nonverbal affirmation. Okay, thank you. So I told him, this was not a secret, right? I told my fiance, like, this person I have been thinking about and waiting for. And what I realized, though, is that while I was thinking about Matt and waiting for him, I was, in the meantime, becoming like the woman I hoped I would be. Like, I was blossoming as my own person. And developing my gifts of music and traveling around the world and like living my dreams. And I realized that even though I thought I was waiting for Matt, really, when David was ready for me, then I was ready also. So it just seems so beautiful to me that the path that I imagined was not how I imagined it, but it seemed to be even better. So I said I would really like to tell Matt, finally, after all these years, tell him my feelings that I had, and now that there's a resolution. And David said, I think that's a great idea. So I sat down with Matt, the seminarian, across the breakfast table. I had asked him to come visit Michigan. It was during the school year, but he said, sure, I'll drive up from Notre Dame. And so there we were eating breakfast, our first date. A little different than I always thought it would be. So he congratulated me on my engagement, and then, with my heart fluttering, I finally told him. I told him how much he had meant to me for all those years, how he had set the standard for me of what it meant to be respected and really cared about as a person, and how that knowledge had prepared me to marry David. And Matt said, really? Because when I found out you were engaged, I was like, man, because I always had the biggest crush on you. What? And then he said, it's not too late, is it? And I laughed because I thought he was joking, so I changed the subject. And then he said, no, really. Are you good though? Are you? And then, oh, he's not joking. And I said, no, yes, I'm good. I'm engaged. Like, yeah, okay. So we talked about something else. And then the third time, this time with tears in his eyes, this is the person I've been waiting for 7 years. This is the question I've been waiting to hear. This is the conversation I've been dying to have, and now I'm engaged. He said, so no. I said, no. He said, I guess it just wasn't meant to be. I said, no, I'm choosing David. Yes, I think I'm called to choose David, but also I'm choosing freely. And you're choosing to be a priest, if that's what you choose. And I think we should pray. So we prayed. It was messy. I was crying. We prayed something like, God, you know our hearts, and we've been praying, and now we're here. This is confusing. glory somehow. Amen. How do you think I felt? Mad. I was upset. Here's a song about it. You don't know how many years I prayed I would hear you say you cared. You don't know how many nights I wished you could be there by my side. And now you say you felt the same. Well, I moved on when you went away. Next time show up sooner. Now there will be no next time for us. Next time speak up quicker. Now we will never be. Talk about bad, bad, bad timing. How many times I thought I could see love in your eyes. You don't know how many days I held back, I gave you space. And now you're bold, and now you're here. Well, I'm moved on, I dried my tears. Next time show up sooner. Now there will be no next time for us. Next time speak up quicker. Now we will never be. Talk about bad, bad, bad timing. This is the bridge where I'd like to fix this. Tie a bow, say it's gonna be beautiful, but you make me feel out of sync. I don't think I get your timing. Time brings change, and you are late. Next time show up sooner. Now there will be no next time for us. Next time speak up quicker. Now we will never be. Next time show up sooner. Now there will be no next time for us. Next time speak up quicker. Now we will never be. Talk about bad, bad, bad timing. Hey, so if you'd like to follow me on Instagram, Amanda Vernon Music is the handle. You can see some pictures of my children. You can hear some clips of my songs. Otherwise, I have a YouTube show where I release new music regularly and the story behind the song. I was thinking about singing a totally different song and just leaving you hanging on the story, but like you're here, you're with me. Thank you. Hey, thanks. It's cool. All right. I was upset because timing. So I went running. I don't know if any of you, any runners here? Any runners? Okay, it's just me. Okay, Ohio, we can do this next time. I went running, and I was just running as fast as I possibly could and just trying to just run out all of my angst. And finally, when I could run no more, I just bent over and I just went, why? Like, why are matters of the heart so complex? And all I thought about in that moment was David and that way that he looks at me, the way he really sees me. I thought it's okay. It's as it ought to be. And all was well and all was forgiven. And since that time, which was about 10 years ago, we invited Matt, the seminarian, to our wedding. He attended. And he invited us to his ordination. We attended. Matt, who's now Father Matt, is one of the most joyful priests I know. And he's also the godfather of one of our children and has truly become a friend not only to me but of my marriage. And this is what I found out. I found out that when I was waiting for this young man and praying for him and thinking of him, he was praying for me every day in the seminary. And this was his prayer. Lord, bless Amanda. Keep her safe. Keep anyone who would come into her life to use her or to harm her in any way far from her. Bring into her life the right man. A man who will love her and who will cherish her. A man who is better than me. Amen. So I decided that I believe that love is real. If I had any doubts. And it's a whole lot bigger than I first thought. And I'm still learning. And the more I learn, the more I see that love just keeps growing with each year of life, each day that I live. There's no end to it. And it's so much better than I thought. Some people live for their fortune. Some people live just for the fame. Some people live for the power, yeah. And some people live just to play the game. Some people think that the physical things define what's within. I've been there before, but that life's a bore, so full of the superficial. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, but some just want everything. But everything means nothing if I ain't got you. Some people live for a fountain, promises forever young. Some people need 3 dozen roses, and that's the only way to prove that you love them. Hand me the world on a silver platter, and what good would it be? No one to share, no one who truly cares for me. Some people want it all, but I don't want nothing at all. If it ain't you, baby, if I ain't got you, baby. Some people want diamond rings, and some just want everything, but everything means nothing if I ain't got you. So my book that I just wrote is a co-authored memoir written with my dear friend Father Matt Face, CSC, and it's called When God Wrecks Your Romance. So we take turns in the chapters. I tell my side of the story, and then he tells his side of the story and what he was thinking at the time. And although there's some heartache, involved. The moral of the story is that sometimes the best joy comes through the worst heartache. So if you'd like to check out my book, there's a trailer for it, and Sharindo was asking if it's going to become a movie. If any of you are movie producers, talk to me later after the show. I'll be here signing some CDs, and I could also get you an audio copy, an audio book, because we narrated the book together, so you can hear me telling my side of the story and Father Matt telling all about his. So we just have a few more minutes left here for some music, so if you know these songs, please sing along. Like the fool I went and stayed too long. Now I'm wondering if the love's still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. And that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. Could be a broken man, but here I am. Seen a lot of things in this world. When I touch them, thinking I'm the girl. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Oh, baby, you set my soul on fire. That's why I know you're my only desire, baby. Here I am, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Got the future in your hands. Here I am, baby, signed, sealed, delivered, I'm yours. Three little birds sat by my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Don't you hesitate, girl, put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your hair down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow. Blue as the sky, sunburned and lonely, sipping tea in a bar by the roadside. Just relax, just relax. Don't you let those other boys fool you. Gotta love that afro hairdo. Maybe sometimes we feel afraid, but it's alright. The more you stay the same, the more they seem to change. Don't you think it's strange, girl? Put your records on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, lay your head down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, lay your head down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow.
take pity for pity's sake. Some nights take me away. I thought that I was stronger. When you gonna realize that you don't even have to try any longer? Do what you wanna, grab what your records on. Tell me your favorite song. Go ahead, lay your head down. Sapphire faded jeans. I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. All right, how about a couple Christmas songs to close out here? So as I mentioned, I have 4 children. They're ages 2, 4, 6, and 8. Woo! And my husband David is my manager. So he went to college for marketing, business degree with a marketing emphasis, and his full-time job is to make sure that I can do my job of music. And so while I am traveling the nation and other parts of the world, David runs all the behind-the-scenes coordination of travel and bookings, website and social media, and he takes care of our 4 kids. So who do you think has the harder job? I'm really grateful. Grateful to be here. I'm grateful to get to play for my job, play music, tell you love stories. So thank you so much to the University of Findlay for hosting this event. Thank you to Sharinda and to your team. Who else is here involved in putting this on? Can you give them a round of applause? Here they are in the back. Hands. Thank you for choosing me to come to your school. And again, it's just a blessing to be back in the Midwest and to really feel like seeing the Christmas lights and a little snow sprinkled on the ground last night, really homey, and just that holiday spirit. So thanks for letting me feel that, guys. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on a tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if only in my dreams. I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents round the tree. Christmas Eve will find me where the love light gleams. I'll be home for Christmas, if
Thank you for attending this month's Music Box concert. Throughout today's concert, students have passed out information about our next 2 exciting events that are coming up: Toys for Tots Christmas Open House and Toy Drive on Wednesday, December 6th, and our Comedy Jam in January. Student Activities Board believes that art in many diverse forms has the ability to uplift hearts and inspire individuals to become their best. If you have been inspired by today's artist, please consider supporting Amanda by becoming an Amanda Vernon patron. There will be a CD signing now. You are invited to stay and meet Amanda personally and continue to follow Amanda Vernon Music on social media. Thank you.